special meeting on December 27th. It is 12:03 p.m. At this time, I would like to ask Councilwoman Kimball if she would give us the invocation, please.
Thank you, President Nuttall. I'll be happy to do that. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father God, we come to you this beautiful winter day, thanking you for all of your many blessings. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your son, Jesus, who was born during this week, God, and as we celebrate him and his time here on this earth, God, and all of the blessings that we've all endured through him, from him like that. We're mindful of all of our mourners today, God, all of our elders, all of those that are infirmed, our children, God, this council, all of the neighboring tribes, God, and ask that you just be with us as we make decisions for the Pawnee people here as the business council. All the best to everybody this week as we move forward during this holiday time. I ask all this in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilwoman Kimball. At this time, we'll do roll call.
Misty Nuttall?
Here.
Jordan Canoe?
Here.
George Gardapi here. Carol Chapman?
Here.
Cynthia Butler?
Here.
Donna Hare?
Kikaku.
Dean Evans?
Here.
Sammy Kimball?
Here.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Item
Yes.
number 3, approval of the agenda. Is there any deletions, corrections that need to be made?
We do have an addition if you want to pull that up on the screen. Is Jamie on? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we do have an addition under new business. We're going to add a number 2, discussion and or approval of resolution 2370, UNO delegates and membership. And those are the changes that I know.
Okay, any other additions or deletions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
There's a motion by Secretary Gardapi. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that Vice President?
Yes.
Okay, Vice President Canuho. No further discussion. We'll call for the vote.
Jordan Canoe?
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman?
Yes.
Cynthia Butler?
Yes.
Donna Hare?
Aho.
Gene Evans?
Yes.
Sammy Kimball?
Yes.
Okay, item number 4, new business. Number 1, Budget Committee recommendations. Letter A, approval of Pawnee Business Council budget, mod number 3.
President Nuttall, I'll go ahead and present on this. This is moving money around, unspent money from a community event and travel to memberships. So it's just moving money around. And this was approved by the Budget Committee this morning in the meeting.
Also, to President Nuttall, we also added $2,000 to the budget. That was for the community events. That was for the donations given to the Christmas community party that happened last week. This was presented in budget, and I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Vice President. I have a motion on the floor and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote.
Jordan Canoe?
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman?
Yes.
Cynthia Butler?
Yes.
Donna Hare? Hitaku?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get the sound to come on. Thank you.
No problem. Gene Evans?
Yes.
Sammy Kimball?
Yes.
Okay, item B, Approval of Resolution 2369, ARPA allocation for the Division of Agriculture. Treasurer Chapman.
Do you want me to read it all, or?
Does anybody have questions? It's in our packet. Do you want to go over just maybe the corrections that were made?
Yes, well, this was basically ARPA allocation made earlier for the Pecan Grove Hotel, and there was a remaining balance of $250,000, which was discussed in the Budget Committee meeting, and this resolution was created to reallocate that money and confirm that it is for the Division of Agriculture. And they coming to the final now therefore be it resolved, the Pawnee Business Council does hereby approve the ARPA allocation for the Division of Agriculture to create food and land sovereignty for future generations to come in the amount of $250,000 through December 31st, 2024. And that's what this action was in the Budget Committee today. This is the final resolution.
Does anyone have any questions or need further clarification?
If there are none,
If not, go ahead.
I'll just make a motion.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor to approve by Treasurer Chapman. Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second. I'll let Jordan have it.
Got a second by Vice President Canuho. No further discussion. We'll call for the vote.
Actually, President, I think that was a Secretary Barrett amendment.
Yeah, I was going to tell you that's Secretary Gardapi.
Yeah, I thought that, but then they said they would leave it to Vice President. Okay, seconded by Secretary Gardapi. And then let's call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Uh-huh.
Gene Evans,
Yes.
Tammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, lost you guys for a minute. Item number C. Approval of Resolution 2364, 2024 Comprehensive Budget.
President Nuttall, I'm going to ask Vice President Canuho to present on that one. He can see a lot better than me on my little bitty computer here, my phone. Would
Sure.
you do that, Vice President? Thank
you. So we met in Budget Committee this morning to basically go over the final numbers for the comprehensive budget. We were sent a spreadsheet. The council sent a spreadsheet last week looking at the remaining funds we had at ARPA and revenue replacement. And so we did identify the funds to carry the deficit for 2024. And so with that, the Budget Committee has made this recommendation for Resolution 2364 for 2024 comprehensive budget. With that, the revenue replacement of notice there is 1.9 million for that, which brings a total revenue of $7,135,000 from general IDC. I think that's about it that we pretty much discussed there. The grand total there you'll notice is $13,893,257 for 2023. And I'll turn it back over to you, President Mel.
Thank you. Is there questions for Treasurer Chapman or Vice President? I know that we did have a discussion prior to the meeting, and that was whether or not approve the federal budgets.
I have a question to that.
Yes, Councilwoman Butler.
Okay, and I just need clarification because I think that we should probably add something to whereas up at the top because we did pass the federal budgets with resolution 2350 and the amount on that was 6,052,844. So there is a $500,000 difference from that budget that we passed for the federal budgets to the comprehensive budget. So should we mention something that we're updating the federal budgets to match the comprehensive budget since they were already passed?
Would be great to add verbiage that reflects that change. I'm just going to open it up. Is there any suggestions? Because I do know that, a couple of times it was presented in budget committee that the actual award letters came in, and usually on your federal budgets, you just budget based off of what you received from the previous year. So some of these amounts do actually reflect updated information with the award notices that were received. So yes, Vice President.
Yeah, I would agree with Councilman Butler on that as well, to add some verbiage to include those new totals that we have with federal budgets. Would we also need to go back and revise that previous resolution for the federal budgets?
I don't think we need to revise the past resolution, but just mention it here that it's bringing
Okay.
them up to a board notice maybe. And sorry,
Okay.
Mr. President Nettle, I didn't hear the first part that you had said. My computer went down and came back up in the middle of your talking.
I was just stating that during the budget committee that yes, there are programs that were brought forward with budget revisions because of actual award amounts received versus just the amounts that were used to budget from previous year's amounts.
Okay.
So would it just be whereas this reflects the most current award amounts? Somehow you need to reference that resolution in there as well. Since resolution, whatever number was passed on, whatever the date was.
2150.
Or this also reflects resolution, whatever passed on or date and includes the most current funding amounts or something.
I think includes is a good.
And it's 2350 and it was approved on October 3rd.
So would it be whereas the 2024 comprehensive budget includes resolution 2350 federal budget with a revised amount or an updated amount of 6 million?
Or is reflective of the changes in the actual funded amount.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you all that.
Are we
Jamie?
typing that in? Yeah, like you got that? Let's see. Maybe if you can just kind of start typing it out, and then we can help with the language.
Okay, would you like this to be a new whereas or just an add-on to the 2024 comprehensive budget whereas?
I heard adding a new whereas after the and then and whereas. The 2024 comprehensive budget
Do we want to do that, or do we want to put it in the whereas where it mentions the federal budget? Where did it go? Comprehensive indirect costs. It might be the third one up above the 2024 after 2024 comprehensive budget. I think you need to scroll up somewhere down. Uh, I thought I seen where it said the federal budget and it had the 6 million.
Like with the whereas included on that, President?
Yes.
Um,
That was an add-in that I had added. Do you want me to put it back in?
Oh, okay. No, I thought that was already in there. What we're doing is good.
includes 20, whereas the 2024
Includes
comprehensive-
updated federal amount or updated amounts.
updated federal amounts, right? Yeah, that's federal.
Updated federal amounts previously approved by resolution, whatever on whatever date.
Yeah. This would be by resolution 2315 on October.
October 3rd.
Should we state the new amount in that as well? The 2024 comprehensive includes updated federal amounts. Totaling. Updated federal amount totaling 6 million.
Can you put award in between federal and amounts? Federal award amounts previously approved by resolution 2350 on October 3rd.
$718,635.
Federal award amounts previously approved by resolution 2350 on October.
That's not the right amount. The right amount should be 6,593,635.
The 593, is that what was on 2050?
No, that one was on the comprehensive budget that we were supposed to be looking at, unless this has been updated since it was uploaded.
Yes, there's been updates to it. This is the amount that just came from budget committee. Okay, 2024. Is everyone okay with the language or any Visions, edits.
Scroll back up, Jamie, quick. Um, Should that, what we just added there, be above the final total of the comprehensive budget, just like the IDC and the title amount? It's just kind of more than whatever the milestone is. Otherwise, I think the language is fine on my part, from my perspective. What does everybody think about that?
Okay, on the, after the 2023, where it says to the following amount of, can we kind of be consistent with either putting totaling or in the amount of, like the other whereases, instead of to the following? Is that okay, or does it need more clarification?
I think that looks good.
Okay, any other changes or discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2364, 2024 comprehensive budget.
President Nuttall.
Yes, Vice President, Councilwoman Kimball.
Yes, thank you. I've attended the budget meetings that were held on behalf of council last week, and then again this morning, and I'm very pleased with the amount of work that has been done by our staff. These numbers have been reviewed, and we've vetted them, and I make a motion to move this resolution with changes.
Thank you, Councilwoman Kimball.
Thank you.
Had a second by Treasurer Chapman. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardepy, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare, Gene Evans,
Yes.
Sammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, thank you all, and thank you to finance and everybody that played a part in getting that budget to table and through review, you know, the countless hours, the changes that are made, and then trying to keep up with the most current data, because it's not an easy task and it can become quite cumbersome. I want to thank everybody for working together to complete that. The next item that we have, I don't know exactly how it was worded. I don't have the the updated agenda. But under new business, item number 2, United Indian Nations of Oklahoma subscription membership. And this is for discussion and or approval. Get back to my notes real quick. And this kind of came about, we've been attending the UINO meetings. I say we because it's pertaining to actually the illegal tag issue that has come about. Not only that, but with, how the tribes in Oklahoma want to move forward and develop a plan to, I guess, negotiate with the governor, with the political climate. We have our reserves for taking anything to the state now because of the political climate that ensued with regard to, initially this was some gaming compacts were approved, 4 gaming compacts, and then 2 of them were basically kind of tossed out because they didn't operate casinos currently. So then that left 2 other gaming compacts. I know Oto's were one of them, and I don't recall who the other one was. I would have to look it up. But the state approved those compacts, or governor approved the compacts. They went to the Secretary of Interior, and they have a 45-day timeline to approve. The Secretary of Interior did not move on any of them. So because there was no action, it's deemed approved. Well, then the state came back, the legislators filed a lawsuit in the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and they came back and ruled that it was illegal because there was activities within those compacts that weren't currently legal. And in particular, it was the, the off-track betting that was done. So all of this has been, kind of right now. I think still back and wanting some type of action because he's saying that the Supreme Court can't undo what the federal government has already. So they had,
Sure.
what is it? They were hearing arguments. Yeah, they were hearing.
Is now joining.
And he's joining at the perfect time. But they had oral arguments that had a couple of weeks ago, and that notice out to all PDC. However, in the interim, then we had the Otos who had a tribal member that was pulled over because of not basically operating their vehicle out of their jurisdiction. And for the past, 20 years, the OHP in Oklahoma has not, taken any action. And this all results this all comes about as a result of the Fox Nation case when they first were able to issue their vehicle license plates. On top of that, there's another issue with the Turnpike Authority because of the plate pay, and the Turnpike Authority, developing this new system, implementing it, and then on the 15th it went live. Well, then they came back and figured out that they didn't have access to tribal members' information, registration information, which is what they need in order to invoice individuals or tribal members, whoever operates that vehicle on the turnpike. So there were meetings held because of that, and OTA still has not come back and stated or given the tribes, they've given us a template, saying basically develop your own information. However, there's a lot of components to it where it's not just, turning over our tribal members' information. It's, is that information protected? Is it, is it going to be sold to a third party? there's different things that have been brought up, not only by us, other tribal members, not other tribal members, other tribes. And attending these meetings, this is probably the issue, and why UINO is at the forefront is because this basically only impacts Oklahoma tribes. Now, going on into this, again, it's the gaming compacts, and everybody believes that STIT is using this as a tactic to try to get tribes to come to the table. Because he doesn't have any other kind of way to try to get that information. We've seen the advertising, the promotional videos that he's used, the newspaper interviews where he's gone and said that it's a safety issue. However, our nation, as well as I think there's all of the others, there's 39 tribal nations, and I believe they said 23 of them report using OLEDs, but there's four that don't use OLEDs, and I'm not for sure what system they use or anything like that. And then the others simply just don't issue tags. Then come to find out, that Chickasaws and Choctaws, the reason that he's saying they have a compact with the state and how that works are not the reason, but they have a compact with the state, and that's what he's wanting, is us to compact with the state and then utilize some of the revenue to go to the state and then us for another revenue sharing scheme. However, it's always teetered, in their favor because they don't utilize any of their resources. It's always at the nation's cost or expense. So what UINO has been doing is utilizing their membership tribes and their legal resources and those kind of things to spearhead this issue. And that's where we're at right now. We have individuals that have joined individually because of how it pertains to their position. Such as, our tax manager having his individual membership so he can attend the meetings and then have a vote. However, that's his individual membership. That's not the nation's membership. And I don't know, who's attended UINO meetings in the past. Previously, this used to be the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. And then they kind of were not active. It kind of went dormant. And then now UINO came and has, I guess, kind of replaced what Unicot used to do. So they're a little bit more organized, and they report at their annual meetings and those kind of things. So I'm just throwing this out there, whether or not we want to join, because this organization addresses more local issues rather than NCAI that is, national issues. And to me, that's kind of the benefit there. And then, like I said, whether or not we want to, it kind of feels awkward, utilizing their resources when we're not supporting them by being a member. If we're individual, if you have your own individual membership, that's another scenario. However, I do need to also inform the council that we have been impacted now by the OHP, because we had a tribal member that reported last week that they did receive a ticket from OHP on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike in Oklahoma City. So what UINO is doing is they're wanting that information on the tickets so they can keep it and then decide how best to respond. And right now, I don't know how the response has even been going with that Oto citizen. I would imagine if it hasn't already occurred, that her court date would be coming up soon. So I'm not representing her, if they provided a lawyer, if the Otos have provided any kind of resources to her, because even at the meeting, we haven't heard anything. You know, we haven't had a statement from the OTOs as to how they're proceeding or what it is that they actually want to happen. So those kind of things are what we would do in order to, you know, get the best use of that out of that subscription, if that's what we want to do. So that's kind of all in a nutshell. And just to further provide you a little bit further information, we reached out, or we are reaching out to UINO to find out what exactly or what type of information that they want from us, and then also reaching out to that individual tribal member and her spouse to make sure that it is okay to even, you know, present their information to them. We can notify them, you know, that we did have a tribal member, but as far as sharing their information, you know, of course, we wouldn't want to do that unless we had their explicit permission to do so. And, you know, the intent of what that information is being used for. So what are your thoughts, council? I don't know, you know, what previously in the past, or you know, any kind of discussion from UINO, or what the issue is in the past either. Yes, Councilwoman Hare.
Oh, thank you so much. So, President Nuttall, council, and tribal members, I think UNO is a very important organization for us right now. I know that when Elizabeth Blackout was president, she saw the importance of it, and it has been strong, and then it has, you know, kind of faded, but right now it's really growing strong. And I agree with what you say, is that, you know, we're using the services, we need to be a member. Margot Gray, the executive director, said that, you know, it was sad not seeing Pawnee Nation up there, because we've been, you know, members of UNO so long, and we, you know, I'm an individual member, and there's another a number of other individual members that attend. I know that we've had to choose between UNO and NCAI, and I would certainly go with UNO right now. Last year we paid our NCAI dues in the early part of the year, and then, you know, the dues are eligible. I mean, the dues are due again. Membership dues are due again at conference time. So I would recommend us not, you know, pay NCAI unless, you know, till later in the year, if we decide to join, you know, to pay those dues, and go with UNO. It's really important right now. When we were going to the NCAI conference, there was a highway patrol at, I think, Indian Nation's Turnpike, Creek Turnpike, Creek Nation. And anyway, they had 2 tribal cars pulled off there with, they both had tribal tags, and they were right there at the turnpike. So, you know, we need to caution our tribal members, you know, to be careful, you know, on trying to use the turnpikes during this time. But yes, I say it's really important that we go forward with joining UNO. This used to be set up for like was originally set up for like the presidents and the chairmans, and so, you know, if you feel, you know, Misty, President Nuttall, I know that you really feel strong about taking care of our needs at home, and I would certainly, you know, give up my position to you and take alternate if you choose to do that. Otherwise, you know, I'm fine with the resolution and would be honored to continue to serve.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hare. Anyone else for discussion? Or if you have any questions or comments on the tribal tag issue, on 2 other things that are coming about is they are working on a PR statement also to send out, and it will be an intertribal response, as well as they have 2 different issues going on. One is the PR response, and then the second is, you know, still working on that tactical issue to try to address, you know, this overall situation, and how the best approach would be to go about in negotiating our gaming compact.
Madam
President Nuttall, I have my hand up.
Kimball. Go right ahead, Councilwoman Kimball. I was just telling
Yeah.
President, your hand
Councilwoman
was up.
Okay,
Looks like
great. Thank
President
you.
Nettle fell off.
Thank you very much for that information. I was unaware that we had a tribal member that was pulled over and ticketed for their tag. So I would like to know if somebody on this council, perhaps President Nuttall, will address that to the members that are dialing in and let us know how we should react. Just take the ticket and contact the tribe. I mean, what do you foresee us hearing? Thank you.
Okay, I missed the very beginning of that, Councilwoman Kimball.
Okay, I
yeah.
said I was unaware that a tribal member had been ticketed this last week, but I would like to provide those that are listening in, our members that are listening today, and perhaps I'm sure we'll put out something on our media sites. But what can they do today? Just accept the ticket and reach out to the tax office, or how do you propose they move?
Yes, and that's something that was actually addressed by legal at the meeting, was that's exactly what they need to do in order to not escalate the situation. However, after receiving the ticket, yes, contact the tax office, and then we would provide guidance. And we, like I said, we have reached out to UINO to find out, what exact information they are needing from us. That way we can get the information, permission from the either tribal member or, their spouse, whoever was affected by driving that particular vehicle, and then move forward. But yes, not escalate the situation. And then the other thing is that, the reason that they stop you has to be because of probable cause. So in this particular instance, the individual was speeding on the turnpike. So he was ticketed for speeding and then was issued that second ticket.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? I've had to call in, so I can't see if the hands or anybody's hands are raised.
President Nettle, this is Vice President.
Yes, Vice President.
Yeah, I'm fine with the resolution. We made the budget mod for the PDC budget to accommodate the subscription or the membership for this. I would also agree with Councilwoman Hare to have you as the delegate and have her as the alternate for this membership. And then if no other comments or anything else, I'd like to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it. This is Cynthia.
Second by Councilwoman Butler. Any further discussion? If not, we'll call for the vote.
Jordan Canuho,
Yes.
George Gardapi, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare, Gene Evans,
Yes.
Tammy Kimball.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, moving on to item
Sitting Coco.
open forum. Does anybody have anything for open forum announcements, activities, events?
President Echohawk, this is Cynthia.
Yes.
I just wanted to remind everybody that if you guys can join us, everybody can attend. The Princess Committee and the Princess are having an end game this evening at 5:30 at the community house.
The Princess Committee, and then Thursday, is that our hand game? The Shara Council versus the Business Council?
Yes.
And I believe these were posted on Facebook as well, under our
Yes.
Pawnee Nation page. And then the 29th, I believe there's another hand game, but I don't recall who. And then the 30th is the Adson family hand game.
Yes.
President Nettle, Jamie has her hand raised.
Yes, Jamie.
We have some individuals who wrote comments on the Facebook.
Okay.
The first comment is, did you all increase PBC salaries?
I don't believe so.
Then the next one is, thank you for a detailed explanation, President Nuttall, about the tags information. Another comment is, has the membership fees been compared group versus individual, depending on how many meetings are attended? And then if ticketed, where in the nation has compact? Shouldn't the member take ticket to that tribal court?
Can you read that last comment again?
She said, if ticketed, where in a nation has compact? Shouldn't the member take the ticket to that tribal court?
That's something that is also being proposed by legal, is whether, or like depending on where you're stopped, who has authority. I mean, whose jurisdiction is it? And I think that's, I also recall seeing, and I believe Jen sent this out to us, the executive order that Governor Stitt has sent out, wanting to address the impacts of the McGirt decision. And he's invited tribal leaders to, again, come to the table to try to address that. And so we have, Creeks and Cherokees who are, very adamant about that they haven't enforced any jurisdiction issues yet. But they still are called whenever there is a stop, I guess, or a potential citation to be issued, that they're still called in if it's a tribal member. So they even had suggested, and these are all just suggestions and recommendations, for whenever you whenever they request your driver's license, that you also give them your CDIB. That also, lets them know that you are a tribal member, because they also have a process that they go through to make that determination whether or not you're a tribal member or not. It can't be based solely off of whether or not you have a tribal tag. So that's something that's being proposed as well, is if you're in another tribe's jurisdiction, that you should be going to their tribal court versus going to the state.
President Nettle, Jennifer has her hand raised.
Yes, Jennifer.
Yes, and thank you. One of the things I wanted to add on to what Madam President was saying was, when a citizen is pulled over, the majority of Oklahoma is Indian land. So depending on that land, it's not against the law for tribal nations to have other tribal tags, other state tags in their land. So it would even have to go to tribal court. It would, in essence, be if someone is stopped with a Pawnee tag, call and send that tag to our tax office, and we will give you directions on what to do, because tribal land that is the majority of Oklahoma, that ticket will go to that court, and that court will, in essence, erase that ticket because it can't exist unless it's on state land, and there's very few state areas.
And I don't want to say erase because I don't want to make it seem like we're 100% accurate. These are just circumstances that have been done that we're aware of. Like there was an individual that had a tribal tag that went to Oklahoma City, and it was thrown out. There was just a news article about a tribal member that was ticketed in Tulsa, and that was thrown out because they were saying the state didn't have basically have jurisdiction over that individual. So I mean, it's not 100% sure thing, but it's just situations or circumstances that we're aware of, and that's why they're asking tribes to send those types of tickets, citations, etc., to UINO so they can track them, and then that way they know how different courts are reacting to this circumstance that's been issued as a result of the enforcement of you traveling outside of the tribe's jurisdiction. And the issue again being that the vehicle in particular is supposed to be, and I say supposed to because then we came back and they've other legal has had different interpretations of the law to say, you know, this is a 20-year issue that's been occurring. However, now, you know, they come back and they want to change the interpretation. And then there are letters from state officials too that address that ticket or registration can be done for tribal members that live elsewhere. Again, the issue going back to defining what exactly is Indian country. And, you know, like Jen has stated, you know, in the past, and talking about historical definitions of what Indian country is deemed, all of Oklahoma was deemed Indian country. So, you know, that's what they're looking at, is how does all of this information that we have play into the current situation or the current circumstances that we have now.
President Nettle, Councilwoman Hare has her hand raised.
Yes, Councilwoman Hare.
I'm so sorry, I forgot that you couldn't see. So thank you, President, Vice President. I just did want to add one thing before I answer the, comparison question. I did want to say that this takes us back to when we first started issuing issuing tags, was carrying your CDIBs in the car, and you had to have that in the car at the time. So we're kind of returning back to that now. And the one thing I did want to say about the is the comparison is for an individual, it's $40 and you get one vote. You're representing yourself basically. If the Pawnee Nation joins, it's 4,000. It's 100 votes, and the nations is being represented, and so that's the difference. And right now, it's worth the money to protect our tribal members.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hare. Anyone else? Did we already call for the vote, or is that where we're at right now?
We're actually in open forum. Those are just questions to some of the comments. Yep.
Okay. And I just want to convey a message that I received from the Peters and Horseshoe family, and they just wanted to thank the tribe for everything that was done on behalf of their family member. They realized that it was the Christmas holiday, and that, everything that was done, had to take them away from their family. So they wanted to thank the business council property, executive office for the use of the facilities and for carrying out what needed to be done in order to bury their loved ones. So they were very thankful and appreciative.
President Nuttall, Jennifer has her hand raised again.
Yes, Jennifer.
Just to give some clarity and data to the PBC, for out of 39 tribal nations, 30 tribal nations in Oklahoma are members of UNO.
Right, thank you for that information. Okay, if nothing else for open forum, moving to item 6, set the next meeting date. Our next meeting date is would be the first Tuesday, which is January the 2nd. Are you comfortable with meeting the 2nd, which is in, a couple of days, or do we have business that needs to be conducted?
Yes, I am. Ms. Donna.
I know we had that one resolution Brian presented. We tabled that. That'll be coming up. I think the due date for that's the 11th of January. So I know that will be something that needs to be approved before then. I'm okay with January 2nd.
Okay. So we'll do January the 2nd, and that's going to be Tuesday. Do you want it at 5:30 or what time?
I like 5:30.
Yeah, 5:30 works for me.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, January the 2nd at 5:30 is our next meeting date. Item number 7, adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by
Second.
Vice President for a second. Is that Cindy?
Okay, this is, yeah.
Okay, second by Councilwoman Butler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll adjourn at 1 p.m. Thank you all for attending, and I hope everyone has a happy new year.
Thank you all.
Happy New Year, everybody, all of our tribal members throughout the nation and world.